Hello my friends, welcome to the garden. Welcome to north central Alberta in the fall. I believe today is October the 1st. We've had a unusually warm fall where I am at and have not yet had frost, but today it's a good chance there'll be frost tonight. It's been cool the last few nights, and I don't know if you can tell, but the air is very smoky. We have an air quality warning today, and of course it's overcast. And it did rain. I think first time in over a month. I don't think it rained more than a few millimeters in September. So I've had drought conditions, which was not that great for the garden. But that's what I'm out here doing today, is saving my peppers and tomatoes and whatever else I can from the frost that's coming. I mean, there's no point in covering it for tonight's frost because I mean, pretty much every night from now on will be frost. Like I said, it's October 1st. It's highly unusual. I still have peppers and tomatoes out here, but yeah, I left them to see what more I could get from them, and I think it was worth it. So I'm going to harvest up what's left of those and start winterizing my garden, which I started over here. That's my pepper plants, and I've put in the best resource nature has to offer, and that is those golden beautiful leaves. And it doesn't matter if they're gold, they could be red or brown or whatever color, but yeah, they are great mulch. It'll protect the soil over winter, and it will feed my microbiology just like it does in the boreal forest. That's the boreal forest that surrounds me and my garden. That gives me inspiration for how to manage soil, which I'll go into great depth in upcoming videos, because I think it will be beneficial to anyone who watches, anyone who's interested in improving their soil. But yeah, it's been so nice. Even my strawberries are still producing. Nice ones. Oh, there's one. Breakfast. Yeah, still getting flowers. Not getting as many insects though, so they're not getting pollinated. And it may not be great for the plant to be doing that this close to the first freezes, but I don't know. Strawberries are pretty hardy, and these ones, this started out one or two plants from pretty much a rotten batch of starters. Only one or two survived, and then they populated the entire bed. Yeah, there's strawberries. They'll be my breakfast and my snack while I'm out here. Been collecting the ripe tomatoes, of course, leaving the small ones and the ones that aren't ripe out here, but I'm getting good secondary growth from the tomatoes, so pretty happy with that. And of course no blossom end rot or anything. So if you're curious how to never get blossom end rot, I know how to do that too. But yeah, so I've got the tomatoes. These are my Hascat plants. They usually have dropped their leaves by now also, which is unusual. They also fruited late, but very good harvest this year. All fruit. My Saskatoon tree was very prolific. Raspberries were good. Everything was good. Strawberries were excellent, yeah. This is my herbs. I started cutting them back for the winter. They're pretty easy to control for the winter. You just want to cut them down so have less growth exposed to freezing. I've been thinking about whether or not I should do that with my irises. These are iris. I saved them. They were just little tiny and didn't look very good. They've done very well down here. So hopefully next spring they will flower. Yeah, if I can slip in here. Got peppers still coming. These are Wahilo peppers. Very nice. They're from my enchilada sauces. But yeah, so you can see that is the end of the season. Everything is turning color. And yeah, if I don't get these tomatoes and peppers picked, they will freeze. But yeah, what else I got going on here? Well, I have this here. It's kind of like my little nursery or whatever. Just biochar. You can put soil in there if you want. I test a runoff. Right? pH. See how hard or soft the water is after being filtered. But it's a great nursery, even for things that, you know, it says, oh yeah, strawberries will rot and everything. You can shove them in here. It is wet, probably more wet than they like, but it's aerated. The water is aerated, constantly moving, and of course the biochar. Make sure it doesn't go anaerobic. Right? It's not like hard packed soil. It's all loose, like hydroponics basically. But yeah, I just put them in here. These were actually still attached to mother plants, and usually when you cut those off before they've developed roots, they die. So instead of putting a cup that was still attached to mother plant, I just took these. These are probably damaged by me doing odd things. Shove them in here and they developed roots. They didn't die. And I transplanted a few over the moss and stuff. I'm going to put in house plant to cover the soil in a house plant, which is also something if you're interested in. I finally figured out after I don't know how many decades of killing houseplants, a terrible typical bachelor with houseplants, figured out how not to kill them and actually make them thrive. Very easy. Yeah, I'll share that with you too as we go. This was my sand and biochar. I took pure play sand, mixed it with biochar to make a soil, and just tested it by growing some carrots. And again, I haven't had much water, so the biochar has really helped with that. They're growing good. That's good. That's a part of a successful experiment, I guess. Making topsoils out of substrates, you know, or just plain sand or clay. I have that on the go too. Yeah, here's some of my containers. I've taken my peppers in the house already because they are sensitive and they were doing really well. I didn't want to even take a chance. But I have these terracotta watering spikes. And like I said, it didn't rain all September, but those things sure saved my containers because they would have dried out within a day or two and everything would have died. Yeah, beautiful tomatoes, no blossom end rot. Pretty awesome. Yeah, that compost tea I'll use up. I guess this is about it with my peppers. Also got grew some carrots. The point to that is I like to pickle the carrots with the peppers, some onions, some oregano. Make that nice little Mexican side dish. I don't speak Spanish or I tell you the name of it. Got some beets I'm going to pickle. They can stay, the carrots and the beets, the frost won't destroy them. And Swiss chard, which is also pretty resilient to frost. But yeah, you can see here, just like all the wild plants, my raspberries look like the season would suggest. I see on Facebook though a lot of people still getting these golden ones here. They're supposed to but no water. They haven't developed very well. Like these aren't going to get bigger. That's the way they look. I think that may be water, maybe a pH problem. So I didn't look at specific plants when I designed these systems out here, but raspberry like pH, and I got it sitting on hugelkultur, so that may be too neutral a pH. But we'll figure that out next spring. And yeah, here I made topsoil with sand and biochar, and I've been growing strawberries in it, I don't know, since August. So that was successful. Got a video on that if you're interested. And beside that, I'm going to put another test plot of just pure clay and biochar. And by pure clay, I got a whole bucket over here. So with the sand, I did half a cubic foot, so I could keep things measured. Yeah, here's clay. This is nearly pure clay. There's a little bit of organic matter in it because I dug it out of the ground. This is all substrate, subsoil. This is not topsoil, but I have learned from processing my topsoil that what I thought was silt and clay is just mostly clay. There's a little bit of sand if you process enough of it. But yeah, so this is fully charged, processed biochar. You're going to see how much of this it's going to take to turn this into a nice topsoil. Worked with sand, works with clay, work with anything. Of course it's going to work. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, that video will be up soon. What else am I doing? Biochar. So I'll process a bit of this to take into the house for planting for next season. And for my house plants, I'm doing some experiments, like I said, finally figuring out how to keep house plants alive. Believe it or not, it's the amazing Miracle Grow, or so sorry I even said that, they'll probably come after me, but these potting mixes, they're killing our plants. So more on that to come. And I am trained in biology, so it's not some hokey anecdotal stuff. I've discovered yeah, maybe dead rotting stuff's not the best thing for living vibrant plants, right? Well, and that brings you back to biochar, because wow, biochar will sit there for hundreds of years and never rot, never go anaerobic, never cause any sort of problem. So incorporate a bit of this into your house plants maybe. I will try to share and show how that goes. But yeah, what else is there to share before I start pulling tomatoes and peppers? Not too much, I think. Just the beauty of the change of season. I should probably bring you along, go up to the national park we have over here, or even into the city, to show the beautiful river valley in the fall. People who live in Edmonton are spoiled with the beautiful natural river valley and great parks. It's a beautiful city, really. Yeah, so just like the boreal forest, the best thing to do to treat your soil, just mulch it. You don't need anything fancy. No one really goes in the forest to stir in compost or add fertilizers, now does it? And these trees certainly grow a lot bigger than my tomato plants, don't they? But yeah, enough of that. I gotta get in here and find all my jalapenos. You can already see been getting cold. They drop their flowers And this black, this dark discoloration, that's from the cold. So we had a bit of a fog or a mist, and it comes in. It's like the mist of death, whatever it touches. And again here, just the outer side of it. So even if it wasn't going to frost, it's probably a good idea to pick them. Because with such cool temperatures, they're really not doing too much. And with a lot of the predator insects starting to shut down, starting to hibernate, if there are any insects left, you could have a pest problem on your plants. Like my tomatoes right now, I got aphids because all the wasps and ladybugs and everything else seem to be kind of more or less dormant and collected together in certain areas of the garden. But yeah, I could probably talk to you guys forever. I really enjoy spending time with y'all. Been reading comments lately since I haven't been making videos. I still get comments, and I tell you, you really are some outstanding, amazing individuals out there. I love hearing what you're doing in your garden, how your season's gone, how you're using biochar. You know what problems you're having and how you're trying to solve them. And if you think, I don't like criticism, or if I'm doing something and you see it could be improved, or something you're doing has already solved that problem, I don't mind hearing about it. I'm not going to take your ideas and run with it like they're my own or anything. I truly do appreciate learning as much as I can about what I'm doing. And since my focus is mostly on soil, there's a lot of specific things I don't know about. This particular what is this cultivar of strawberry, right? Or how best to overwinter my oregano, right? Or what pH my raspberries need. I can use help too. I'm just out here showing you what I'm doing, mostly sharing what I am successful with, and that's soil. So we can all benefit from that, right? So I will go get some boxes. For tomatoes, I just like to use cardboard. You can take the tomatoes in green. They will ripen. You don't need to put them in a bag under your bed, or in a closet or something. You just put them in a box or container and set them somewhere where the cats won't use it as a litter box. Yeah, so that's all there is to that. I'll go grab some boxes, maybe some paper towel to line them with, since it did rain and it's a little bit damp. You don't want to put stuff away wet. But, yeah, so that's my garden in the fall. Not much to see. I guess I have a lot to say, but I'll bring it back, show you my peppers and my tomatoes. Alright, I finished bringing all the tomatoes up to the house from the garden. Here's the ones that are going ripe already, or are already ripe. If I don't have enough to make sauce, I will freeze them until I do have enough to make sauce. And that's pretty simple. I just wash them, dry them off real quick, and then freeze them just as they are. When they come out of the freezer, just throw them in a pot and cook them up for sauce. It's real simple, real easy, and that way if you don't have maybe many tomato plants, or they're not all coming ripe at the same time, you can save them until you have enough to make sauce. Blah blah blah. Anyways, I had some mead that was spilt and I need to rack over. But yeah, so all I do is just take some shallow boxes. I don't want to fill them too deep. I don't want the tomatoes stacked too high that I can't see the ones going ripe, or they start rotting, right? And you get too many of them in one box. So I've divided them up into several boxes, and as they start turning color, I'll just pick them out separate them, and like I said, yeah, you can freeze them as you go, but most of these will ripen near the same time. And again, you don't have to do anything special. Cardboard's just there to collect any moisture. I put paper towel down on the bottom also. Like I said, you don't want them rotting or anything, so you don't want to put them away wet. And I won't wash them till I'm going to process them, either to freeze them, or you know, if I'm just making sauce as they get ripe. Either way, they get washed before they get made into sauce. But yeah, it's just a look. These are all the ones that I left past the, you know, like predicted frost dates. Basically, I think today's the 3rd of October. It's a day or two later from when I started making the video. So we had rain, and yeah, it wasn't very pleasant outside, so it took me a while to get everything in. Here's a look at my tomatoes. Let's go see what happened outside. And I'm back out in the garden. As you can see, it's a much nicer day than it was when I started this all. But it is going to freeze tonight. Sorry about the traffic. So, last few nights I've had, that's my peppers underneath the cover. I have my peppers covered. Strawberries, of course, are pretty hardy. And everything else seemed fine. I don't think the frost actually hit. But here's my tomato plants I've dug out. These will not be composted. These will be thrown into my next fire for biochar. They will be pyrolyzed into biochar, or used as a flame cap. This will be probably my last stuff to be harvested. Is my beets and my carrots and some Swiss chard still that I haven't eaten yet, or that the bugs got to. Got a little bit of vegetable leaf miner going on there late in the season, because there's no predators. But yeah, so this was one of my tomato beds, and then I emptied also my containers that had tomatoes in them. So I used the same soil mix in my container as I do for the beds. So I went into the beds, recycled or upcycled. That big mound is my surplus topsoil, and it was just sitting there, so I thought, oh, I'll grow some potatoes in it. So I planted it full of potatoes. So yeah, maybe the potatoes, this bed still need harvesting, and then of course my peppers. So over here I just covered them. I have oh, what are these called? It's electrical conduit. It's the wrong size really to make a good permanent structure. 3/4 diameter, 3/4 of an inch diameter would be more rigid. These are 1/2 inch, and they're too wobbly to make anything permanent, but they're great for moving around a garden. And you can install them in any bed real easy. They slip into the soil and they will hold up a cover. So yeah, if it's going to frost, like tonight it's going to freeze. So I'm going to pull out my peppers before that happens. I'm not going to take a chance. But if it's just frost, if it's getting near the freezing mark, then you can cover it. Right here I'm using tarps. You can use bed sheets or whatever you have. It doesn't really matter as long as whatever's covering it is not touching the plant. But yeah, it's just a look around the garden. Some other tomato beds here. So to winterize these, I'm just going to put the leaves that are falling down. It's a great resource, and it's what the forest does to feed the soil. And that's all I do to feed the soil. No fertilizers. It's the biochar soil mix, and advice from, well, Mother Nature, right? In this case, the boreal forest. So, I mean, it's all around me. If I don't take inspiration from it, then I'd be blind, right? So, well, if you've enjoyed any of this, I know it's been a long-winded video and didn't really show too much, but give me a thumbs up. You know, you can join me here in the garden as a friend. Please subscribe, and I'll try to share with you as much as I can for affordable, easy, and sustainable organic gardening. And I don't use fertilizers. I can turn any kind of soil. Here's some clay. I can turn anything into topsoil. Doesn't need to start as topsoil. I can use sand, clay, any of your subsoils. But yeah, wherever you are, whenever you watch this, have a great day. Peace.